time. It's a scrimmage, but we'll take it. It's the Clippers and the hometown Orlando Magic as we get our first look at the whole new game inside these facilities with no fans, new courts, such a different look, but these guys were ready. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, early on, it looks so different. No fans, but Paul George looks like the Paul George of old. Remember, he had some hamstring injuries before the shutdown, a lot of them. He actually missed 21 games. That one goes to Kawhi Leonard from downtown. Kawhi missed 13 games of his own. So Doc Rivers was saying just a week or so ago that he feels really good about this team because everybody's healthy. They're together for the first time in a long time. That's Aaron Gordon finishing with 13 points and 7 rebounds. Clippers down 3 here, and George working up top and comes off. And how about that? A step back 3. So we're all tied at 14. It's a barn burner here. Now, in the second, Nikola Vucevic gets it at the top of the key and knocks that one down. The straightaway 3 take that. He had 18 and 10, a nice double-double in his return. Reggie Jackson finds Kawhi. You know you give him any space, he's going to make that. So it's 43-39 LA. Final seconds of the first half as Paul George pushing it up, stops and pops at the buzzer, count it. Paul George really feeling it all game long again. He has struggled this entire season leading up to the shutdown. He took advantage of the time off and says he feels great. They're up 53-42 at the break. Early in the fourth, Lou Williams gives it up, gets it back. Money. He had a hefty 22 points for LA. Remember the 2 seed in the West, expected to give the Lakers some trouble for sure. That's Patrick Patterson. Clippers would win 99-90. Paul George with 18 and 5. Lou Will asked what it was like playing without fans for the first time.
We had some fun with creating energy for ourselves on the bench and being able to talk things out on the floor. And it forces you as a team to be involved through and through, from the coaching staff to the guys on the floor to the players on the bench. It all forces everybody to create energy for themselves.
The games are the games. I mean, once you get in between the lines, you know, you can make a case that's probably as comfortable as the players will ever be or as normal as everything will ever be, because once they get between the lines, it's a basketball game. And so I think you could see that. We could see the rust and all that. But for them, they were back in their natural habitat.
Certainly must have felt good for those guys. So the Clippers will enter the restart with the 2nd seed in the West, 5.5 back of the Lakers. Those two, again, will meet in the opener on July 30th. However, the Clippers currently without Patrick Beverley and Montrezl Harrell, as both have left the bubble. How about Russell Westbrook back for the first time, practicing with his Rockets teammates for the first time, and he was all smiles. You may recall he did not travel with the team earlier this month when they flew to Florida for the restart because he was self-quarantining after testing positive for the virus. The 9-time All-Star had to quarantine again after arriving at Disney, all leading up to today and practice. Russ spoke afterwards about how the team is evolving.
It's going to be very, very vital for us to be able to bond and stay very close-knit, because times like this, I think it kind of only allows you to be able to come closer or grow apart. And I think that we're such a good place from what I heard from not being here. My job is to come in and just fit along right where everything else is going perfectly fine.
Mike said he was basically going to leave it up to you as far as whether you wanted to go in Friday's scrimmage. Do you have a feel for that yet?
Honestly, Tim, I don't have a feel if I can make a layup at this point. I got to start there first. Once I start there, then I'll work my way from there.
Let's go back on the road to Orlando. Say hello to our Rachel Nichols inside the bubble. And Rachel, good to have you on SportsCenter with us again, as always. You were at Rockets practice today. Got a chance to catch up with Russell and chat with him for a little bit. He's back. He seems jovial and happy. What did he have to say to you about finally getting into the bubble?
Yes, everyone is happy he is finally here. PJ Tucker said he was sitting in one of the common areas the Rockets have in their hotel around 7:30 this morning and felt a slap on the back of his neck and said, "Ah, yes, Russ must be out of quarantine." Indeed, it was Westbrook. When I got a chance to chat with him before practice, he said he was just so happy to be around the team again, that being on his own these past few weeks is what was the hardest for him. He told me that he got tested just after 4th of July weekend as part of the NBA's opening round of mandatory tests, and he was really surprised to find out that he was positive. He had the entire time was a stuffy nose, but that going 16 or 17 days without playing basketball was something that he was a little nervous about how he's going to rebound in practice today. They ended up using him in about 80% of the practice, and Sage, you heard him say they're going to play it by ear about whether he'll take part in Houston scrimmage on Friday, but you and I know Russ. If I had to lay money, I would guess that if someone says there's a court, go out there, we'll see him out there. We'll find out.
Good luck holding him back, right? Best news of the day, we had live NBA action, game action for the first time since March. Yes, finally. 2 scrimmages this afternoon. We showed you the Clippers and Magic earlier. I know you watched part of the Nuggets-Wizards matchup, Rach. What was it like inside the arena?
Yeah, I mean, as surreal as I'm sure it looks on TV, they're playing music. They're doing everything they can to give it that lively atmosphere. The announcers are really giving it their all. But there are periods where it is completely silent, and you hear the squeak of the sneakers, or you hear after a foul is called, let's just call it, Sage, the intense discussions between players. Also, without a lot of crowd and a lot of fan noise, you notice more little things around the arena. They muted out some words in a song that everybody started laughing at. Because it is, of course, only about a handful of 25 grown adults here in the room. We figured our virgin ears could be exposed to some language, but apparently not. So, there's just little things along the way that are going to be different every single day, but it's part of the experience. And the biggest feeling I had, frankly, watching was that this was really an incredible achievement. The fact that the NBA and the Players Union were able to coordinate all the different things that went into this moment is so huge with the crisis our country is facing. And it's scrimmage. It's late July, but wow, we have basketball back.
Absolutely. It's just an escape from the reality that every single person has had to face. All right, while we have you, one more question, Rachel. This on the Bucks, who play their first scrimmage tomorrow against the San Antonio Spurs. You attended Milwaukee's practice last night. As always, all eyes are going to be on Giannis. What stood out to you?
Yeah, I mean, he was banging out those three-point shots and just one after the other, working on step backs, working on side steps. And I talked to him afterward about whether at this point hitting those threes is mental or physical, if it's more about his mechanics. He said he thinks it really is all about the mental aspect now. And not that he has a problem in his head, but he just feels that taking that final step of that confidence, especially when a defender is in his face, he said that's the only hurdle he has left across, that he feels like his mechanics are really sharp. And when I was watching him launch all those threes, boy, it was hard to disagree with him. He has been so dangerous, Sage, for years now. Obviously, the reigning MVP set to win his second one. It's hard not to think he's going to be even more dangerous here in Orlando. I am very excited to see him out on the court.
Absolutely, as he once again tries to defend that MVP title, but LeBron James right on his heels. Rachel Nichols with the very latest. Good stuff from Orlando.
And right now it's getting the Clippers to the finals.
We know who we are. We know we stack up against the best in the league.
The Clippers win round one with the Lakers.
Kawhi Leonard is better than LeBron James. That's the Lakers' problem.
James, step back, knocked out of his hands.
Can you describe the challenge defensively when LeBron? No challenge.
The league is not what it is if the Lakers are not winning.
LeBron James putting on the finishing touches.
I want to see the two teams in LA going at each other's necks.
This is what the NBA is about.
All right, we are down to single digits, 9 days before the real games begin. Until then, we got scrimmages to hold us over, and those begin tomorrow for the Los Angeles Clippers and many other teams. They play the Magic. Needless to say, the entire team is ready to get back to work. Hello, Paul George. Hello, head coach Doc Rivers, who is excited for the games, but he's also looking at the big picture. Listen.
The league's been great. They really have been, they've done everything right as far as I'm concerned. I mean, when you think about that, we're running a village for the first time. League's doing pretty well in city management. There is a lot of stuff we can do here, but as far as our health, we have an app every morning that you have to do. You're wearing bands. Everybody are wearing face masks, when you're out in public.
It's been good, You're able to be around, the guys that you've been missing for the past 3-4 months. Next scrimmage is just getting in shape, getting our team chemistry together, getting the flow, getting the rhythm. That's what I expect us to do. It definitely feels like a training camp. You're going 2 weeks or so without playing a basketball game. But I guess the pleasures is, just like you said, team bonding, just enjoying your teammates' company pretty much.
See, sometimes it's the little things for the guys. NBA reporter Malika Andrews joins me now live from the bubble in Orlando. And Malika, I know you watched the Clippers and the Nuggets. Both teams practiced scrimmages. What were your key takeaways?
Well, in addition to the fact that Kawhi Leonard was wearing slides that said fun on one foot and guy on the other foot, which was just great, my biggest takeaway from practice is they're starting to finally get all of their guys back. Marcus Morris was actually in practice for the first time today. The guys were just happy, Kawhi said, to kind of have everybody starting to get back out there and being able